right, here we go on a Thursday. Longshore and McKnight, so glad you were with us here today. I'm at, network control. As you can see, Barry, once again, with the hat on. There's a good indication he is on the road with Troy basketball, I believe somewhere in Louisiana, but I can't swear to it.
Well, heading to Louisiana. When Trojans played last night, I'm in Jonesboro, Arkansas for the third straight morning, but we're heading to Louisiana. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to have to leave you to the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel because the bus to Lafayette is leaving right at 9 o'clock sharp, and it ain't like I'm averaging a double-double or anything. They'll leave me. They won't leave a star player, but they'll leave me. I'm just kidding. Trojans lost last night to Arkansas State. First loss in the league this year for a really good Troy team, Louisiana, on Saturday. And it's interesting. That game started at 7.
Oh, wow.
Up here in Jonesboro. The Alabama basketball game started last night at 8.
Oh,
and,
did it? As I said yesterday, don't expect it to start right at 8 o'clock.
Well, I was wondering about that because I got back to the hotel, kind of a dreary buzz. Everybody was disappointed in the loss. Got back to the hotel and, with the post-game show on the radio that I did and with, everybody packing up the bus, you don't leave right after the game. So we get back and I'm thinking maybe I can catch a couple of minutes of the Alabama game, which started at 8. Our game started at 7. Our game started an hour early. Both of them are too late. And that thing was just barely in the second half.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what in the heck was this? And I'll tell you this. I love basketball. I'm a big I played basketball when I was in school. I had a hard time, and again, I didn't get to see, the tone of the game in the first half, the build-up or anything. They played at Vanderbilt last night, and I watched the second half. That second half took forever. Alabama ends up losing it. Vandy wins it 96-90. And so I did a little research this morning. I mean, I wasn't watching it like for every particular. There were 39 fouls in the second half. Both teams
I don't blame you, Nate, for getting teed up last night. I would have gotten teed up too with all those fouls.
Both teams were in the bonus 6 minutes into the second half. Both teams had 7 fouls and were shooting free throws 6 minutes in. So I did some research, John. Again, Vanderbilt wins it. They win at home. There were fouls. There were 64 fouls called in that game. There were 88 free throws. 88 free throws in that game. They didn't make 88, but they took 88. 88.
I look at that, Barry, as 88 stoppage of play. That's not what I'm watching. I don't want to watch guys line up on the free throw line and everybody get in the lane and the ref handing the ball. No, they lost me. Thankfully, there's a button on the remote where you can jump back from another station to another because I ain't sitting there watching that crap. 88. You got to be kidding me.
It was unwatchable.
We had the same discussion last season.
What was that game? It might have been the A&M game last year. I talked about that. Oh, my word.
I don't get it. Let them play. Don't give me this ticky-tack, touchy foul stuff. I don't want a foul call 30 feet from where the ball is by somebody over here on the other side of the floor. Yeah. Give me a little NBA. I know we're
a little free-flowing basketball.
But let me play. Let them go up and down the floor. Just ticky-tack fouls drive me insane. Look, we know what a foul is. I don't want a little touch foul or a little, breathing on the guy. I think these refs think that they're just so cool and big time. And, oh, look, I'm Joe Badass. I'm going to blow the whistle. If you don't, just tired of it.
Nate did get it. Nate did get tired of it himself.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
He got teed up by the referee. He kept coming at him. The referee kept giving him this number, John. The referee kept saying,
Talk to the hand.
Nate wasn't having it. He was saying, "Get back. You must get back." And Nate was like, "I ain't getting back. And furthermore, you can take it and show, all this kind of."
What coach is responsible for standing in between the head coach and the official? I saw the clip of. There's this one guy. I mean, he's mirroring every move that Oates made.
Yeah. He ain't grabbing him and holding him back or anything like that. He don't want to do that because then he'll get really ticked. But he's kind of getting the shoulder into Nate and saying, and then Nate would turn around and start walking back to the bench, and the referee would do this number. Nate would turn around and he'd have to get that shoulder into him again and all that. John, these are two good basketball teams. Vanderbilt's unbeaten. They're really
impressive.
good.
I was impressed with Vanderbilt. They were more than I was expecting. But Barry, you can't miss all the threes. I mean, Bama must have missed. I can't tell you how many threes they missed last night.
That's another thing I looked up.
In and out, but some of them weren't good shots. And I'm thinking, man, I've never seen a team miss as many threes.
They missed 31 last night. You play 40 minutes, they average nearly a missed three a minute.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No.
And I'm sure that got under Nate's skin. I'm sure that ticked him off with all the missed threes. And I've never heard of a full body cramp. Maybe after a long fraternity weekend, I might have had a full body cramp. I don't know. But LeBaron Philon allegedly had one last night. Had to leave the game. I think he'd already pumped in like 18 at the time. A lot of production out of LeBaron Philon. But that's a tough one to lose. 18 points, yeah. And Bama was trailing by 1 at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know what a full body cramp is, but he had to go into the locker room and get an IV. And that certainly, I would think, hurt this Crimson Tide team as they went down the stretch. And particularly when you had that many fouls. I mean, heck, you're probably thinking, well, man, this guy's about to foul out. I can't play as aggressive as I want to.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. That's definitely a thing. Vanderbilt scores 96. They win it 96-90 at home against Alabama, who returns.
Wait a minute. Way offsides. Jeff says Bama committed 3 fouls in 22 seconds. What's wrong with that? As a matter of fact, I think I did that.
Yeah, that was he set out to do that. So there's that. It was a disappointing game because these are two really good teams. It's a big SEC game, and you just never really, as a fan, and I mean it's not just for the fan, it never really had much flow to it at all. Like John said, a transition basket, run up and down the courts. There was not enough of that. There was a lot of another whistle, and then, everybody line up at the free throw line and see what happens, and you go to another whistle and this and that. It's interesting to me because I would have thought this, and big props as always to our chat line. You guys are great.
Yeah, you guys are up early today. Good job.
John and I logged in this morning, well before the show, not obscenely long like some of you guys. There were already 31 chats before John and I even got on camera, before we even started. 31 of them. And it's funny because, they're talking about the Who, and that morphed into something about Guns N' Roses and all of this kind of stuff. It morphed into that basketball game last night. Didn't Alabama lose their starting quarterback for next year? Does that,
Whoa.
You lose at, you look at Tider, Insider.com, and evidently the number of fouls, 64 fouls last night. One of them said that that's an SEC record. Great effort tonight in a very hostile environment. We would win that game with Philon. He was taking over.
Did Nate Oates call the SEC office last night like Stephen Pearl did the night before? Hey, come on,
Ooh,
Greg. Too many fouls. You got to get these refs roped in a little bit.
Jeez. But at the time, and I looked back a little bit, at the time it happened, there was hardly any conversation about Alabama's starting quarterback who threw for thousands of yards, saying that he's going into the NFL draft. It was like, everybody was like, good for him, big deal.
Obviously, the power of this program spreads not only through our viewers and listeners, but through Tider Insider and then everybody else, because somebody's been sitting here for the last couple of days going, do you really want him back as quarterback? I mean, he's a great kid, but I think it's time for him to move on. And I want to applaud our great viewers and listeners and Tider Insider subscribers and Bama fans all over the country and the world for that matter.
Yes.
It's time to move on. I mean, Austin Mack, Keelan Russell, next man up.
I don't.
You're not going to find anybody crying about it.
I don't get it.
Kid, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, great guy, all that kind of stuff. Ty Simpson threw for 3,600 yards.
Good for him.
28 touchdowns. 28 touchdowns thrown, was second in the SEC. SEC. And everybody's saying, well, it's about that time.
What we say about stats.
Got to go. Why? What is it?
11-4. It's time to move on.
The whole team was 11-4, not just him. I'm thinking
he's the most
you talk
recognized member of that team.
Talk about
what do they say about if the quarterback has you got to take the good with the bad with the quarterback. That's the guy that's getting all
he gets too much
praise
credit.
And the crud.
Yeah, you've got an experienced quarterback, and again, it's his decision. His dad said that every NFL projection they saw and they asked about had him in the first round. None of them had him in the second round. I get it. If you're a first-round draft pick, go. I don't care if you're Phi Beta Kappa or a Rhodes Scholar or something. You go make that money. So he made the right decision. Nobody's doubting that. But the reaction from Bama fans, I think, is a little understated. I mean, that guy threw for 3,600 yards, 28 touchdowns. And you guys are wadding him up and throwing him aside for who? Austin Mack?
Yeah, time to move on.
Keelan Russell? I get Bama, and I've made the observation before. And John has agreed, I think, the most popular person on the Alabama campus, the Tuscaloosa campus of the University of Alabama system, is the backup quarterback. It's always been that way. Oh, this guy, everybody is just throwing aside a 3,600-yard passer for Keelan Russell, who you've not seen at all. I think
it's a tough business.
I'm not scolding anybody.
It's a tough business, and
sometimes why didn't you guys like Ty Simpson any more than you did? Come on, people.
I'm not saying I don't like Ty.
No, I'm talking about the general public.
Yeah, I think generally people like Ty Simpson. I mean, the guy waited his turn. In an era where he could have left last year, maybe the year before, he stuck it out, fought, and did what he wanted to do, become the starting quarterback at Alabama. But I think it's time for him to move on. And if he can be a first-round pick, I was eating lunch with Cowherd yesterday, and he had him on the board as probably the third quarterback taken. I believe also next year, they project years in advance. I don't know who the people that do this type of stuff, but allegedly next year is going to be a big quarterback year. So when you go into the draft is also very important as well. Not as big of a year this year, allegedly. I think there's a couple of guys ahead of Ty Simpson at this moment on these NFL draft boards. So I'm not sure he'd be the third quarterback on the board next year.
Fair point.
Compared to this year. So, it's all about timing. I'm a big believer in that as well.
Yes.
Look, we're not holding a parade today that Ty Simpson's elected to leave the Crimson Tide football program. But on the other hand, I don't think there's going to be a bunch of rioting and protest and people storming down University Boulevard or get in front of the Malmore building going, what are y'all doing? What the hell's going on? I don't want to sound like I'm unappreciative, but okay, time to move on.
See, that's the thing, and I'm not second guessing the decision. I'm not second guessing, the impact on the football team. Who knows? Bama fans are telling me that Keelan Russell, armed like a rocket, fleet of foot, reached all buildings in a single bound and all that. Maybe so. But I thought you would have appreciated him more than you did.
Maybe Ty Simpson's looking at it. My offensive line was so terrible last year. All of them are gone. I don't know who's coming back. I'm out. I'm not waiting for them to fix that mess.
Yeah.
I'm not running for my life on every play again and get hurt. So I get it.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see how Austin Mack and Keelan Russell and some of these other guys that have come in and we're practicing during bowl preparation. We'll see how it plays out.
Jet Tamala. I just think I would not be surprised. I'm not saying I think this. This is not my opinion, but I would not be surprised. What is my Longshore is? Let me look at my glass. Would it surprise me if I told you? Yes, this is a tried and true. Would it surprise me if I told you that maybe in 10 months you might look back and say, golly, I didn't really appreciate what we had in Ty Simpson. Golly, I wish he was still there. And if Alabama starts off 5-3 next year, 6-4, something like that, you're all going to say, man, I told you we should have gotten Ty Simpson for another year. I knew that would be a big loss for us.
Well,
I'm not hearing that now.
I'm not going to say that I might not say that. I don't know 10 months from now, but at this moment on the 8th day of January 2026, I'm thinking, okay, I think it's a good move. It's time to move on. Need to take it to the next level. And there again, I think Kalen DeBoer needs a quarterback that he recruited. So we'll see. We'll ask Rod Neor all these questions at the top of the next hour. But here in about 15 minutes, Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, will join us as he does each and every Thursday. As I mentioned, Rodney at the top of hour number 2. Bart Heisch, our resident college basketball expert, number 22 from the Mississippi State Final Four team, starts back today. Bart will join us around 8:20 today. We'll check in with our man Brian Reynolds at Cambrian Ridge on the RTJ Trail. And with all those guests, Barry, I think we'll dive into the Daily Dog when we return. We normally do it on Friday at 7:20 on Fridays anyway, and we're so booked up today. I thought we'd go ahead and get the Daily Dog.
Yep.
I don't want to say out of the way. It kind of diminishes a little bit.
Get it presented in ample time for the line movement, which always moves after the Daily Dog to take place as well. Will it be tonight's college football playoff semifinal? Miami and Ole Miss tonight?
It could be.
First of 2. Tomorrow, the Peach Bowl, Oregon and Indiana. It is upon us. Longshore and McKnight, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Wrap Up the Year sales event is on at Stivers. Grand Cherokees and 3-row Grand Cherokee L's under 30 grand. Wrangler 16 grand off. And Gladiators 14 grand off.
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
The wrap-up the year sales event is on at Stivers with great deals on new Rams like 0% for 6 years. Laramie's up to 18 grand off. Bighorn's up to 17 grand off. And heavy duties 12 grand off.
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Okay, we are back. It is Thursday here with Longshore McKnight. Maybe later today, Barry, you never know. I don't want to say something that might not happen, but I understand Gurn Sr. was in Nashville last night watching the Bama Vanderbilt game from Memorial Gym.
That's wasted money. It was Vanderbilt's all that. They've got some really good players and all that. You didn't really get a chance to see it very much because all they were doing was shooting free throws yesterday. All right, what do we got today in the world of sports? Well, you don't have a Thursday night NFL game tonight.
Not tonight. Not this week.
That's kind of a shame. There is college basketball, of course. There is college football playoff action. There's some games in the association. It's not the most target-rich environment for the Phantoms' daily dog, but it is worthy of a recap here.
Well, it is. And, of course, we took it on the chin last night. Bama was catching 4.5 on the road. Lose 96-90.
That is not 4.
LeBaron, I needed you last night, my man. I needed a couple of free throws made. Man. Somebody help us out here.
Full body cramp. Come on, man. I don't want to hear about no full body cramp. I needed that 1.5.
Yeah. You know? What is a full body? I've had a cramp in my calf and my big toe, but a full body cramp?
I'm saying is if, I'm not questioning his toughness or anything. LeBaron Filan's a good player. But how does he have a full body cramp and Steve Berline did not?
I'm with you.
If anybody had a right to have a full body cramp, it was Steve Berline in the Notre Dame-Alabama game when Derek Thomas just about buried him.
No, that was Cornelius Bennett in the Bama-Notre Dame game, Legion Field.
I stand corrected.
Because I can remember what I was doing when I saw it.
Wincing, right?
No, I was walking down the steps to go to the concession stand, believe it or not. And I stopped dead in my tracks and turned around and looked at my buddies going, did y'all just see that?
Because you could see it coming. Everybody at Legion Field, all whatever it is, 60,000 people at Legion Field. There was one person in the whole stadium who did not see it coming, and that was Steve Berline. Anyway, yeah.
You ain't kidding. Jeez.
Everybody could see it from like 3 seconds away. Oh, no. Yeah. All right.
That was a tough one. Lost it by 1.5. Oh, gee, come on, fellas. Help us out here, man. Jeez, just one. Man, you think of one bucket? That's all we meant. One bucket would have covered the spread for us.
This is the reason why you go to Vegas and you've got a ton of white-headed men there in Vegas.
Because there's a ton of lights flashing up and down the strip.
Well, that's true. Yes.
Okay, Barry. So let's move on to tonight, where we will go to the desert of Arizona.
Nice.
It is the Fiesta Bowl college football playoff semifinal game, 6:30 p.m. ESPN. Not sure what group is calling the game for the for ESPN tonight.
I'm gonna have to take a look at that.
I don't know if it's Herb Street and those guys or McElroy. Who knows?
Let me see.
Joe Tess.
It will be. Yeah, it'll be Fowler and Herb Street.
Okay.
Indiana and Oregon tomorrow night is McDonough and McElroy. So, this is Chris and Herbie.
All right, Barry. So, Miami taking on Ole Miss. That's the Hurricanes against the Rebels. Miami, a 3.5-point favorite in the game tonight out in Arizona. Well, let's talk a little bit about Ole Miss. I got to tell you, Barry, they continue to impress me, riding a wave of momentum and emotion. Now, look, I had a lot of questions about Ole Miss prior to their Sugar Bowl game, but they answered all of them for me. They really did. I was a little suspect on them.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I'm going to tell you the one area of Ole Miss that does concern me, but I've been impressed with what they've done so far. Their head coach, Pete Golding, he's done a fantastic job keeping this roster and most of his coaching staff intact. Most of the important ones are still there. I think that's really, really something to consider. I do have questions about Carson Beck and the Hurricane offense. If they fall behind, are they built for a comeback? Each team has played 2 playoff games so far, but Trinidad Chambliss has gone 53 of 75, 71% for 644 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 1 sack. 1 sack. Let's dive a little deeper into that. Florida was the only team to be able to apply pressure on Chambliss this season. Check
Florida?
the tape.
All right.
He attempted 82 pass attempts in 2 games against Georgia, and the Bulldogs did not record 1 single sack against him. LSU couldn't sack him. South Carolina couldn't sack him. Mississippi State couldn't sack him. Guys,
all God's children couldn't sack him.
Couldn't sack him. Special teams, I believe, going to be a big part of tonight's game. Ole Miss is number 1 in the country on special teams. That's been overlooked, ladies and gentlemen. And special teams could be big. As I said earlier about Carson Beck, if the Rebels can apply pressure early, jump out to a lead, I think it's going to put more. It's going to be extremely difficult for Miami. I don't think the Hurricanes are going to have enough to keep up if Ole Miss jumps out to a lead. My biggest concern with Ole Miss, Barry, and I noticed this in the game against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. And I know it was a tough game and it was hard fought. I saw some Ole Miss linemen with their hands on their hips. And I know it was late in the game. They're tired. That's the one area I'm a little concerned about. And I'm sure, Miami's linemen can get tired too.
Yes.
But that's the one thing that keeps coming back to me. If I got to find one negative on the list that I got to check, that's the one thing that concerned me. Linemen with their hands on their hips. Everything else with Ole Miss, I checked into the positive category. Plus, I'm catching 3.5 with a team that's number 1 in special teams. That's all I need to know. I'm taking the Rebels hotty-toddy as the Rebels cover the 3.5 tonight against the Hurricanes.
And move to the national championship game.
How about that?
Ole Miss.
Well, I'm taking the 3.5.
Game.
I'm not going that far, but
okay, yeah.
I'm taking the 3.5.
Bill from Baltimore says, so if Ole Miss wins, Golding gets national title credit, right? Not Lane? I will say this about that. Bill Golding has hit all the right buttons. He had a press conference yesterday. We said he didn't give a bleep about anybody else. They were asking him about Lane. And he said, I'm worried about those guys in there and everything.
Widespread Pete. Love it.
I will say this. Lane Kiffin wouldn't give 2 toots. Lane Kiffin gets whatever it is, like $100,000, $200,000 for every win Ole Miss gets. And he's not even the Ole Miss coach. As long as he gets his money, you can call it whatever you want to. Well, that's our daily dog for today.
What do you think about that selection?
I like it. I like it. Miami's defense is all that. Miami, there's a bunch of junkyard dogs.
And that's an area you got to look for because they can rush the passer. I'll give you that. They can. So that could be an issue because Chambliss hadn't been sacked.
As a matter of fact, I'll go one further. That will be the issue,
yeah.
John. Yeah, that will be the issue if they can get to Trinidad Chambliss because I've been really impressed with that guy. I like it. I have never, ever in my life, people always give me a hard time. Oh, you hate Bama. I don't love them. That's my thing. But boy, I hate Miami. I hate Florida State, and I hate Georgia. So, I just could not find it within myself to root for the Hurricanes no matter what. But I think the Phantom makes a really good presentation.
Well, here's a good one too, Barry. This is a very good point. It doesn't need to go unnoticed. Bama lineman hands on hips in the second quarter. Yeah. You're right about that.
So there is that. When we come back, it'll be Jason Caldwell, Auburn undercover. Auburn knows who their starting quarterback is going to be next year.
Yeah.
Some schools don't.
No.
Yeah.
Don't matter.
Some schools don't. We'll see what the Byram Brown experience will look like from Jason Caldwell, auburnundercover.com. When we come back, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Will?
Got it coming. Here we are. I'm prepared.
Hey, folks, how often do you think about your roof? Probably not often at all. I know I didn't until I needed a roof replacement. And I call my friends at Roof Life. Whether it's roof inspections, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, Roof Life is there for you. They use the highest quality products, top quality craftsmanship, and if you're like me, your roof can be replaced in one day. So if you're in need of a roof inspection, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, get in touch with my friends at Roof Life today. You can go to roofyourlife.com. That's roofyourlife.com, or dial them up locally at 334-306-6712. That's 334-306-6712. Pravel Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Pravel Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet. Okay, back at it here on this Thursday. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. In association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out there. Video content, a write-up about the show each and every afternoon. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, X, Apple iTunes. Hope I didn't miss anything, but if I did, you know where you can find us. Video, audio, whatever is best for you. You can check it out, and we really appreciate folks that maybe can't watch us live every morning, and we certainly understand that. Watch us or listen to us at their convenience throughout the day. We really appreciate that. And, hey, it helps with the algorithm, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Tell your buddies about it as well.
Back in the day when John was taking Algebra 2, I don't think he ever made it to calculus. He never thought he would say algorithm as much in his life as he has said here over the last couple of years.
I'm not even sure, Barry, what an algorithm is.
That's right.
I hear that word thrown around quite a bit. I got to look it up. I'm on Google algorithm. I just hear it thrown out there a lot in formats like ours.
John's like, I may throw that out there. See if I can pull it off.
Yeah, it just sounds good.
Yeah.
Hey, our man Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, joining us here as he does each and every Thursday. How you doing today, Jason? Thanks for joining us.
I'm good, guys. How about y'all?
Doing real well. First of all, a very blunt question, if you would take it and run with it as well. Should Keyshawn Murphy's 35-footer at the horn have counted? And what does the first couple of games in the league tell us about Auburn basketball?
Yeah, I mean, I'll answer the second one first.
Okay.
This was always going to be a team, Stephen Pearl, Bruce Pearl, whoever, that just had some issues because you had to rebuild an entire roster. And so that was always going to be part of it. And, I think Jovic getting hurt in the second half was a big deal for them because they just don't have a ton of size. And so that was part of that too. As far as it counting, not counting, I thought the ball was still on his fingertips at 1 second. But the question we always have to answer is, what view do they have that we don't have? Because on TV, in the replay, you're like, man, there's no way to tell for sure whether the ball was on his fingers. I'm fairly certain that's not the only replay they had. So that's part of the things we just don't know. The issue is, from my opinion, is it's almost like the Jackson Arnold fumble for me. When that happened, we talked about it. I said, look, just don't fumble the football, and there's nothing to do about it. You carry it to the official, and it's a touchdown. It's not a fumble or not a fumble. The same thing with that game the other night. You just can't give up. You can't give up 6 points a minute in a 6-minute stretch and win basketball games. You just can't do it. And it all happened in just like 2 moments of that game, really. Auburn only had like 13 turnovers, and I think 9 of them happened in like a 2.5-minute stretch in the first half, second half. So it was just like this. When you give up 11 points in 28 seconds, that's almost impossible to do. And so to me, yeah, I think it was tough to overturn it based on what we saw. But like I said, I think they probably saw something different. But it's more of, you didn't do things you needed to do to win a basketball game. That's the bigger part of it. And that's the bigger issue now for this team is, yeah, you don't have a rim protector, but your perimeter defense has got to get miles better, whether you let a guy get to the rim or not. And so that's the thing now is like defensively, this team has some issues. They can score, but I just don't know if you can score enough. And heck, you look at there's a lot of teams like that. When we saw Alabama last night give up 95, and they're without a couple of guys. But you send guys to the free throw line. It all depends on how games are called. Sometimes you never know. But we knew coming into this season that this was going to be a team that was going to need to take advantage of opportunities. That's the part about this one right now that feels like it feels like you missed 2 opportunities to win basketball games. And there's
now
not
you got a hot
Arkansas
team. Yeah, now you got a hot Arkansas team coming in Saturday late afternoon. That's 2-0 already in the league.
Yeah, they got some size. It does feel like, though, matchup wise, it's still not one that's outrageous for you. The Florida Tennessee games, because of their size and length and the way they rebound, feel like the toughest matchups for this team. Alabama's going to be one. But you look at Vandy now and you go, man, that's tough. Missouri's a big physical team that won at Rupp Arena last night. Mississippi State's got some size and they're 2-0. This thing may look a lot different in 2 weeks than we thought it was going to look going into this season. I still don't think there's great teams in the league. It feels like football to me, where I don't know that there's great teams in the league, but I feel like there's a bunch of teams that can beat you if you don't have a good day.
That's a fair statement. I didn't think about it in that context. Jason, put into context here, what's realistic expectations for Auburn fans about Byron Brown next year at quarterback?
Yeah, I think to me, the key is, as we've seen it with, I don't know that it matters more at a position than it does at quarterback. That don't look at what a guy was when he was 16 years old. I think offensive line is probably another one. I think those are 2 positions you look at it going, you change so much. It all depends on system, the guys you're in, how much you developed, all those things. And look at Diego Pavia and look at Fernando Mendoza and these guys that are playing at a high level. Trinidad Chambliss, how much you've grown, how much you can control the game, and the system you're in and comfortability, I think, are really important. It's why you look at teams that have had success in this playoff era, and a lot of them are teams that have taken OC and quarterback together. So look, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. I think that's a valuable part of this one, is that you look and go, look, these guys will stay in the same system. A lot of same faces when you talk about some of the wide receivers coming in. But you look at him physically and you go, look, physically, that guy can match up in the Southeastern Conference. People said, I remember he ran for over 100 yards against Alabama a couple of years ago in Tuscaloosa. They beat Florida last year in Gainesville. He's physically done some really good things. And so combine that with some pieces and you go, look, you feel like it's an offense that has a chance to be better than we've seen at Auburn in a little while. And if you can do that, then you give yourself a chance.
A lot of fans, I'll say, get all hot and bothered about players that enter the transfer portal. There was an assistant at Alabama that made a tweet earlier this week, said, hey, man, check the tape. They're in the portal for a reason. I think you could probably say that with a lot of players all across the country. In this day and age, it's production over hype. And if you're not producing, it's time to move on. And I think maybe fans don't look at it that way sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's the flip side of well, you can go anywhere you want to at any time. The flip side of that is you can go anywhere you want to at any time. And coaches aren't immune to that either.
Right.
You're like, okay, hey, we paid you a bunch of money. We're not paying you that much money next year because you didn't get the job done. And guys go, well, I'm going somewhere else. And go, okay, that's what you have to do. And it it's the sad reality when you look up, and I don't know how many thousands of guys there are in the transfer portal now, but there's a lot of them. A lot of guys will find a home, but it's probably not a home that they ever envisioned themselves being at 2 years ago. And so to me, there's still a part of this to where you have to look at it, in my opinion, if you're a kid going, okay, what am I in this for? Am I in this for money right now? Or am I in this for development, future, when I'm 50 years old? That's what college used to be about. I was thinking about this yesterday because I talked to a former player, and he was talking about, look, he comes back to Auburn and it's home to him. Like, he knows people. Auburn was so beneficial. Alabama, Tennessee, you can plug in whoever you want to, was so beneficial in the development of him as a person, and now his life, the contacts he's made, all those things. And when you're in 4 schools in 4 years, you don't have a home. There's no home to go back to. You were with teammates for 9 months at one place, and you go to the next. That's the part of this that I hope some guys still imagine and see, because I think about Arch Manning. Now, he made money, but that guy could have gone anywhere in the country after his first year and started over. And he said, you know what? I'm not ready for that either. I'm not good enough to be there. And he stuck it out, and I think it's going to pay off for him. But I know it's going to pay off for him 30 years down the road when he goes back to Austin, Texas, and people go, man, that guy was here the whole time.
Yeah.
I still think there's a part of that sometimes gets lost for these guys that go searching for something that maybe isn't there.
Yeah, that sometimes we do lose sight of that. Well, let's talk, as you mentioned Arch Manning, let's talk about retention. I'm going to ask you about, all these USF signings and commitments and all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about retention. There have been a few guys that have said, look, I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere. Let's run it back at Auburn. And those guys are extremely important there. Name a couple of those that you thought, that have said they're coming back, that you think were critical for Alabama.
Yeah, I think before we do that, too, people need to also remember there's a bunch of guys that just come back. They don't care about, the guys aren't on social media a ton, that they'll just come back and they're here and they're already working out, that maybe haven't announced it. So there's a thing about that too. But I think you look at it and go, then Xavier Atkins, that's one that you have to look at and go, man, that's a really important one. But you look defensively, and a lot of the young guys on defense, they've said, look, hey, we're here. And I think that was important, because you're not going to keep everybody in this world. I don't care who you are. You're going to lose players. What do you value in terms of what am I looking for? And I think for a new staff, you come in and go, look, we keep the young guys, because you knew you're going to have to go get older guys anyway. Mm-hmm. So you're probably going to get older guys from the portal to bridge the gap a little bit. Keep your young, really talented players, as many as you can. And that was a starting point. So they did that on defense a lot. But you look and, seeing Jeremiah Cobb around and Omar Mapson, seeing those guys around, and saw Alex McPherson yesterday and some of those guys. So there's pieces in place. So I think those are some of the guys you look at going, man, it was really important to keep an Eric Winters and Anquan Fagans and some of those guys too. But now you got to go supplement that with what you can add out of the portal. And you knew that was going to be a pretty big number coming into this.
So, and that was the other part of the question. I noted to somebody the other day that Curt Cignetti, when he took over at Indiana last year, that he brought 13 players with him from James Madison, including the starting running back and the starting tight end, some good players. Mm-hmm. Jason, people have noticed that Auburn is getting signings of a lot of Golesh's South Florida players. That's not a bad thing, right?
Yeah, I think when you look at the makeup of it as well, I think it helps you understand it a little bit more. Some of these guys are basically like signing a high school kid. You sign a DB that redshirted.
Okay, yeah.
That's a 6'2" corner. And for them, they're like, hey, we think this is an SEC guy. They redshirted him last year at USF because physically he probably wasn't quite ready yet. But you're basically adding him as it's almost another signee. So you've done that with a couple of wide receivers too. Now, one of them Koger played a ton as a freshman, and his 6'3", 215 wide receiver had like 8 touchdowns. But you had a couple of freshman wide receivers that they feel like you're guys that, hey, these guys can play in the league. But they had some depth at wide receiver last year. So you're bringing those guys in as more just basically additional signees. And so that's part of it as well. But continuity, we mentioned it earlier. You're bringing guys in and know your system. When you start talking about, Chaz Nimrod's a guy that's played in this league at Tennessee and been successful. And it was pretty good last year until an injury ended this season early. But so you go, like, guys, you know what to expect out of them. And as much as anything, I think, like at James Madison when Indiana came, like at Vanderbilt when you brought Diego Pavia and tied in and a couple of guys.
Yeah.
We've seen it at other places. We look at it Penn State now. I think Iowa State's already brought like 18 guys.
They have.
Having the ability to, first of all, have Joel Gordon and Cody Burns and Tyler Hudnick on offense, where you're like, look, we're going to have a group in place that exactly who they are. Then you have a quarterback, some wide receivers, a running back. The other guys then can learn an offense much quicker, in my opinion, when they see guys that are doing it already at a high level. So you're not teaching everybody something new. I think that's as valuable as anything. So I think that's part of this is going, look, culture, they know exactly how this thing's supposed to work. That helps the other guys see it. And you can, I think, start quicker than you can if you got to teach everybody in the whole room something new.
Jason, what's the running back room going to look like this fall?
Yeah, obviously, like I said, I saw Jeremiah Cobb yesterday and Omar Mabson, and I've seen Alvin Henderson around. Now, we still got 8 days till this thing closes, and so obviously things can change. But then you add Davenport from USF, who's a 6 foot, 216-pound running back, so he's a bigger guy, which is what I think they've kind of been missing, is that kind of bigger physical body in that room. And I still think they'd like to probably add a guy. That's the thing about this now, is that technically you can get to 105 scholarships. I don't know that many teams get to that number, but I think you could get to 92, 93. So you're going to have some extra spots at a few positions. So you might take an extra wide receiver that you didn't before. You might take an extra running back that you didn't before. So instead of 4 running backs, you may have 5 now. Instead of 11 wide receivers, you might have 12 offensive line. So you might give yourself an extra player at every position. And so because of that, you may find an older, experienced guy. They had Jacoby Jackson from Florida that visited a couple of days ago, and there's still a couple of running back names on the board too that you might go, look, we might need an older body to help us through a season.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I know I think there was a running back from Cal, a running back from Baylor, and all of that. With the young running back room Auburn's got, you're thinking, well, why would they want that? And I think that's exactly why, just to get an old head in there that knows the lay of the land.
And you're also a tempo offense, so you're going to be going fast. You're going to try to run more plays, and so that means you're probably going to need a couple of extra guys at spots, just for the simple fact that you're going to be moving a lot faster.
Well, I'm scrambling here on this because this is not probably apropos to anybody, but I'd promised somebody I'd ask this. How important, and I'm trying to think of the name now. Yeah, here it is. How important is it for a young player to announce that he's coming back? A guy like Jared Smith, who people probably not all that familiar with, Jake.
Yeah, I think, like I said, some of these guys are like, hey, you probably need to hear from, because they're big name guys that were signees, and he's a guy that was a pass rusher out of Thompson. Long, athletic, he's a guy that Auburn hasn't had a bunch of in the past few years. It's been a while since you had one of those guys. Keldrick Falk was a bigger, more physical body. Jared's a guy that was a basketball guy that's long, probably will end up playing at 265, 270 pounds, but still going to look like a power forward. But twitchy guy, can run. And I think he's a guy now that you start looking at how do you reconfigure that front. I think he's a guy that, whether he's a defensive end or that jack linebacker, will be heavily in the mix as a pass rusher for this team next year. So that was a big one.
Jason, who do you like tonight in the college football playoff?
That's what I was going to ask.
I don't know. It's just an interesting dynamic to me. I think, first of all, I think Oregon got a break playing, and that's tomorrow night. But you're like, you look at Ole Miss, I like the matchup for them, even though Miami's a team that can get after you and do some things. I think Miami getting to play the Texas Tech offense and that Texas A&M offense, who I had seen in person too, I think it's propped them up a little bit. Now, I think they're really good defensively, but I don't think either one of those offenses is as good as what Ole Miss is. The question is Keywan Lacey, is his shoulder good? Because if his shoulder's not good, then it changes the dynamic for that Ole Miss offense. I do think the Ole Miss defense is good enough, and I don't think Miami's offense is that great. Now, they've been running it better with Fletcher. But I think Chambliss is a guy, and I said it last week before the Georgia game. When it's one thing to stand there and chase a guy who can't move. It's another thing when you go and that's a moving target and he can make plays on the run. And so I think because of that, I think his playmaking ability, Miami's a team that's going to pressure, but it also means if you don't get to him, you're going to have some opportunities to make plays. And so I just think Ole Miss and because of Trinidad Chambliss is a little bit better. And so I'm going to go with the Rebels.
Who do they play in the championship game?
That's the difficult one, because I heard people and I heard guys talking about it, but from an NFL perspective, about playing a team a second time and how beneficial it is. Because if you're Indiana, you probably don't change a whole lot from what you did against Oregon the first time because it worked. Well, Oregon's not going to do the same things they did the first time at home. They're going to be different. I think Dante Morris has improved a lot. And I think that Oregon defensive front has gotten better. Can you run the ball like Indiana runs the ball? Because if you do that, then if they stay a 2nd and 4 or 2nd and 3 like they were the entire game against Alabama, then they're going to be really tough to beat. Their offensive line is really good. I think that's going to be the best game that we've seen out of this bunch. We've seen some good ones because I think the national champion comes out of that game. But it's hard to bet against Indiana right now just because of that offensive line and the way they play. They don't make mistakes. They make you beat them, and that's usually a pretty good recipe.
Mm-hmm. You ain't kidding. All right, Jason, let our viewers and listeners know how they can become more involved with what's going on there at Auburn Undercover. You guys are on top of all the portal news. Obviously, basketball heating up as well with SEC play. How do they jump on?
Yeah, guys, and you know what starts Monday? Full squad baseball practice.
Wow. Hey, there we go.
This early. It is. Yeah. Softball's already started full squad.
That's right.
I mean, we're like a month away from baseball season opening, which opens like February 14th. So it's that time of year. But yeah, the portal has dominated everything, and it's been a challenge for folks who cover it. I think it's probably been these are 80, 90-hour weeks at the moment right now to get through this stuff. And but Chris Clemente, Nathan King, obviously Philip Marshall. We're just trying to keep it between the ditches at the moment. So check us out at auburnundercover.com, part of the 24/7 network, and follow us on all the social media platforms, and can find me at ITAT Jason.
Always a pleasure. Thanks very much, Jason.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. As always, we'll talk next week. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover. One thing about the games tonight, Barry, I would like to see maybe the evening that they know what teams are moving to the semifinals, that maybe they can put them in places that are a little bit more convenient. I mean, Oregon was in Miami. Now they're in Atlanta. I mean, can they not play in Arizona and Ole Miss in Miami play in Atlanta? I know there's a lot of reservations, hotels, airline flights, this, that, and the other. But if you do it maybe the night the games are decided, say, okay, Ole Miss is going to Atlanta, Oregon's going to Arizona. I just think that's a little –
yeah. And
that's tough for Oregon. Geez.
We had talked about that whenever the playoff was announced, that, hey, we're going to go to a college football playoff. What about the fans that had to shell out this much money to go out to Los Angeles, and now they've got to go to Atlanta or whatever? Yeah, I'm with you there. Why not wait and say, okay, what makes common sense? What's the common sense thing to do here? Do we send Oregon back east, or would it be better to send them down to Phoenix or something like that? Yeah, I agree with you.
I get the
and
thing
it wouldn't
about
hurt anything. The Bulls don't care. I mean, they don't care who's coming.
I don't. The fans, you just gonna have to live with that. I'm really kind of thinking about Oregon. I mean, they got to go from Eugene to Miami, then they got to go back, then they got to come to Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's tough. When we come back, Barry, Rodney or the Tider Insider scheduled to join us, but once again, kudos to our crack research team about some statements that were made about Auburn's new quarterback. And we'll reveal those when we get back.
That research team, have they got any comments about Alabama's quarterback?
Well, they don't know who it
or
is.
Do they, about,
got to find out. Got to find out who it is first.
Well, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Man, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got you, Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Okay, back at it here, a couple of minutes to the top of the hour. Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, going to join us here momentarily. Brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. The freshest seafood available in the river region is at Destin Connection. And don't forget, everything in the showcase there at Destin Connection, they can prepare it for you if you like. I mean, if you want to come by and pick it up and take it back and cook it, prepare it yourself, go to it. But they also have the ability to cook it and prepare it there at Destin Connection. I'm a big fan of their po' boys, whether it's a shrimp po' boy, oyster po' boy, the grilled grouper po' boy is my personal favorite. But any other seafood item in the showcase can be prepared. Call ahead, 288-4272. They'll have your order ready for pickup. Just go to the drive-through window. Very convenient there at 3750 Norman Bridge Road.
All right. Now, how concerned are some of John's people? I mean, how much work have they done in truly and fairly and objectively appraising the talents and the upside and the potential contributions to Auburn football of new quarterback Byrum Brown? You Auburn fans, you might be able to read a little bit into this about how worried. I mean, how fully they appreciate what Byrum Brown can bring to the
Barry, this goes into the category of, hey, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you. I mean, don't throw it on me.
That's like John the other day when he said, I talked to my guy at Aaliyah, and he said, no, the state troopers aren't traveling out to Los Angeles. Yeah. He said, take it up with them, Barry.
Take it up with them. Yeah, they're on the plane. Yeah. I mean, those are the guys that are going to know. And they did fly.
They did, yes.
I got that double checked.
Yeah, so did I.
Allegedly somebody, I don't know, maybe it was you, who knows, I don't know.
All right.
Made the statement that Byram Brown gave Alabama fits. That's a key word, Barry, to get some people like, whoa, fits? Hold on. I'll show him. Wait a minute. What's he talking about? Fits.
I didn't mean this well, I mean, Alabama did win the game.
Yeah, they did.
They played a couple of times. Alabama did win both of those games.
That's true.
Gave them fits does not imply, as some people seem to take it when I say such things, that the Crimson Tide program is in danger of collapse. They are about to go 0-12 if they don't get this fixed or anything like that. I was just saying that Byram Brown had a very impressive performance.
Yeah. I mean,
against
Barry,
Alabama.
Over 30 years, there are buzzwords that get – whoa, what? Wait
fits. Gave us fits. Nobody gives us fits. We give everybody else fits.
I am told, Barry, with an attached stat sheet to go along with it.
Nicely done. I didn't mean anything personally.
Look, I'm giving credit to somebody else. I didn't dig this up.
Right. Yeah.
I want everybody to know that. In the 2 games that Byram Brown has faced Alabama, he's gone 29 out of 63 for 46%.
Yeah.
190 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. 46 carries. This guy carried the ball 46 times in the 2 games against Alabama?
Yes.
Jeesh. For 200 yards, 0 touchdowns. It's just what I've been told. If you don't believe me, you can look it up yourself.
Right. Yeah. They attached a stat sheet too?
Oh, yeah. I got the stat sheet with it.
Nicely done. Is there a pie chart involved? Is there a gosh, what are some of the is there a coverage map? No, that was another
no, that was something else.
Anything.
I'll say this, Barry. Our research team is extremely thorough.
They're extremely motivated. I can tell you that. Goodness, I didn't mean anything by it.
But
gracious.
I got to tell you guys, thank you for the research. Thank you for the
Wait a minute. How dare you say this guy had a good game against us? I'll look up that stat sheet in a moment as well, because they played twice.
Yeah, they did. They played. As a matter of fact, I think South Florida comes to Tuscaloosa this fall.
I'm not.
Maybe they do.
Again, I'm not saying that he should have won the Heisman Trophy based off his performance by Alabama, or that he'll win the Heisman Trophy at Auburn. I just said that Alabama had a difficult time with it. Yeah. And you guys who send those things are the first ones to admit, Alabama always seems to have problems with a running quarterback. You guys tell me that. But whenever I said, he played pretty well against Alabama, you're like, what? Gave us fits? No way. That's hilarious. I love you guys.
Oh, hey, love you guys. Keep them coming. Great work. Yeah. All right, our man Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, joining us as he does each and every Thursday. How you doing today, Rodney?
I'm doing well, guys. How's it going?
It's going really, really well. The story of the day that people want your perspective on primarily here, first of all, Rodney, is kind of twofold. The level of surprise, if any, that Ty Simpson's going into the NFL draft, and the football impact that has on the Alabama program.
Yeah, no, I'm not really surprised. Actually, I kind of felt like maybe that was the direction this was leaning heading in. So just not really surprised at all. I would say this, as far as the level of impact, I think Ty obviously had a great year, but I do think they've got some very talented young guys that are here. I think there's a lot of expectations for Keelan Russell. Let's just be honest. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a guy that they've painted as a future superstar type player. And I think Austin Mack's done a great job. I thought he did a really nice job coming off the bench cold the way he did in the bowl game against Indiana. He did pretty well. He showed some things. He's got an incredible arm. So I don't know if he stays here and competes. That's the question. And John and Barry, here's the thing too. I know we only have one portal, right? We don't have a post-spring portal anymore.
Yep.
But the question on Mack is this. Is he a potential grad transfer? So that may play into whether he stays or not. Is like he may stay and compete to spring and say, okay, I'm not in the position I want to be in, or I am in the position, whichever it is. But if he's a graduate transfer, he can still leave, you know.
Oh, wow.
Right.
So let's just see what he does. You know, and again, right now, I think obviously those are the two main guys.
And you know, Rodney, you got to have some backups though. And if Austin Mack leaves and Keelan Russell is the starter, what kind of backup? What kind of depth are they going to have?
Yeah, well, Jet Tamala's a true freshman tier out of Nebraska, set all kinds of records. I think he's extraordinarily talented himself. Now, he's not ready to play in the SEC, but I'm just saying he's here. Yep. And then you've got Taden Kawa, another true freshman coming in from Utah, who's a really talented kid as well. So you would have, as we see it now, those would be the three. And I'm not including walk-ons or anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be the three, John and Barry. But here's the thing. Do you sign a guy maybe in the portal who's a veteran player that, you know, understands that, hey, you know what, I'm not going to probably be the starter, but I'd be an emergency guy with my experience, and it could be an opportunity for me to learn something for the future, because a lot of these guys want to go into coaching or whatever, or position themselves in some other ways. So it wouldn't be bad if you could sign a guy maybe that fit that mold.
Yeah, I'm with you. Where is that guy, though?
Well, I mean, you know, who knows? I mean, lurking out there in the portal, there could be a guy, you know, and you know, these coaches know of players that are around. I mean, that's what they do internally, is they track these kids. So you should have a database of kids around the country, and you know, all you got to do is reach out to an agent these days, and you know, things happen.
Put some context into what the meaning you think is when somebody like Clinton Dix, who's in player development at Alabama, says that just take a look at the tape of some of these players who are in the transfer portal from Alabama, and then judge what kind of an impact their leaving has on the program. What do you make of that, Rodney?
Well, are you asking me from a judgment standpoint? I mean, in terms of did he use good judgment in saying that?
I
don't think I would have said that, honestly. I mean, again, you recruit these schools, number one, that a lot of these players are from, and here's the thing: other schools will use that against you. They'll hold on to that quote, you know. And I just think overall it wasn't a good thing too, because it sets you up, because what you're really saying is, okay, we're going to get rid of some dead weight. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah. We're going to get rid of some dead weight that didn't produce. Okay, so if that's what you do, it stands to reason that people are going to expect whoever you bring in, they better produce, right? Yeah. So a year from now, if you've brought in 15 guys and you haven't gotten a lot of production and don't seem to be a lot better, then all of a sudden people are going to remember that. So, I mean, and again, I love Clinton Dix, man. I do. I just think it probably would have been better to keep that comment in-house.
I get that. I'm wondering whether or not you see that. Just the general thought that a lot of these guys, not just from Alabama, but from everywhere, who go into the transfer portal, people think, oh, he was a 5-star, he was a 4-star. But if you look at actual production, what they've actually done on the field, some of these losses, I think, for Alabama that people are concerned about, production-wise, may not really be that big.
May not. But here's the thing, too. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's just use James Smith as an example.
Montgomery kid,
Right. So supposedly, okay, you've brought in Devin Tompkins from USC.
Right.
And if you want to look from a pure production standpoint, Tompkins didn't have really better production this year than James Smith did. I mean, both those guys have flashed a ton of potential. Now, I understand there's, you know, some things that you have to look at and consider. And I do think with Tompkins, you look at his size, he's 6'5", he's 290. and his athleticism he does have an incredible first step. So I thought that was it's really good. Now I talked to my guy at USC yesterday about him. And he said, look, here's a guy that is extremely athletic. He cannot play on the inside. USC played him on the inside out of necessity, and he couldn't hold up. He just doesn't have that kind of makeup to him physically. He's more of an end type guy, more of a pass rusher. He's not tremendous against the run. So that's what you're probably getting in Tompkins. But as far as your thing there on production, and again, Quay Russaw was injured a lot this year. He had 36 tackles last year, his first year as a redshirt freshman. And obviously those stats dropped a lot this year, but he was injured from the very early in the season until the Eastern Illinois game. So, production sometimes is hard to measure.
Rodney, the current coaching staff today, will it be the same the day after the portal closes?
I think there's probably going to be a change or two. I would be a little surprised if there's not a change or two. And I think that if you don't make a change or two, then there's going to probably be a lot of eyebrows raised because basically you're saying everything's okay. And, I get Alabama was 11-4 and they played for the SEC championship and all that stuff. But I think there's obvious areas of improvement that they've got to make. And, I know that there's a lot of look, I'm not saying that they should change the offensive line coach, Kapilovic. Coach Cap. I'm not saying
There's
that.
There's a lot of folks on Tighter Insider message board that think they need to.
There is, and I'm sure you guys have heard it as well.
Wow.
Again, the text messages and all of that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of people that want to change on the offensive line. There's people that have mentioned, frankly, and again, I'm not suggesting these need to be made, but Gillespie, running back, I know that there's a lot of people that have brought him up. And let's be honest. I mean, we can be real honest here. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have suggested Ryan Grubb needs to go. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that has been out there quite a bit. Not as much on the defensive side, obviously. But again, those are names that have come up, mentioned, and again, speculation and fans and all of that.
The comp I hear, the comparison that we have heard upon the news that Alabama is getting the transfer of North Carolina State running back Hollywood Smothers, and I've seen him play, is maybe a Jahmyr Gibbs kind. Do you think that sort of a comparison is valid from what you've seen?
I don't think he's nearly well. Yeah, I mean, I can see the way he kind of stops and cuts back and has a explosive burst. I don't know that he's quite as, electric or dynamic speed wise as Gibbs.
Right.
But he looks really good. I mean, he's about 5'11", 195, and he runs with some power. He runs with great vision. And like I said, he can cut on a dime and make people miss. And that's one thing they couldn't do. One thing they really have struggled these 2 years is they haven't been able to make people miss. They haven't been able to break tackles or avoid tackles. So I think that's some things that he brings that's really good. I don't think he's on Gibbs's level, but he's good.
Rodney, earlier this week, I made the statement that Mike Shula never lost a game by 35 points as the head coach at Alabama. I remember Mike Dubose getting beat in a bowl game against Virginia Tech badly. I was in Arizona when Gene Stallings took that team out there and got beat by Louisville badly. The bowl game against Michigan last year was a fiasco. But, Rodney, I don't think in all the years I've followed Alabama football, I've ever seen an Alabama team perform at the level that they played against Indiana last Thursday. What about you?
Yeah, you mentioned that Music City Bowl. That was really bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
That was really a bad performance, and I thought that team kind of quit because the weather was really bad. Obviously, it was sleeting and all of that. John, it's certainly that game against Indiana certainly fits into a very small pool of games. And you've been watching it. I've been watching it for 50 plus years. I haven't seen many like that. You referred to some games, and again, just to kind of put it into perspective, you mentioned the 90, it would have been the 91 Fiesta Bowl against Louisville. That was Stallings' first year. Okay. But really, Alabama had beaten Auburn in that last game. And that game, they didn't even really prepare for the Louisville game. They recruited. I mean, there's different circumstances that make games understanding. Nebraska in the 72 Orange Bowl was just that much better than Alabama. It's just the way it was.
Yeah. Johnny Rodgers.
So I'm getting to this point is this team quit in this game. And you could kind of sense it, especially in the first drive of the second half for Indiana. I mean, and look, Herb Street said it. Herb Street said this team looks like they're just existing out there. Mm-hmm. And that he later said that this is really hurting Alabama's reputation. That's kind of the significance of that game. And I mean, here's the thing, too. And this is why it's a concern to Alabama fans that pay close attention and will look at it objectively. It's not saying that they can't come back and, do really well next year and kind of get where they want to be. But there is a pattern going on here. It was last year, which you write off that year one, but we saw it this year. The egg they laid against Florida State in the opener, they bounced back, had a tremendous run, no doubt about it. You think they're turning the corner, and then all of a sudden, they turn the ball over against Oklahoma and lose here in Tuscaloosa. Okay, that happens sometimes. But what happened to me in that SEC championship game, I keep hearing the injuries. Well, Kirby Smart pointed out and has pointed out, Georgia had a bunch of injuries. They lost perhaps their best offensive player, their center for that game. So they lost a lot of players too. The fact is Alabama kind of laid down in that game. And then you come back and you look at the first 23 minutes of that Oklahoma game, John and Barry. Let's be honest. You look at the first 23 minutes of that game, Alabama was one play from probably that game getting away from them. Xavier Robinson doesn't drop that pass, and it's probably 24-7 going into halftime. It's a big difference. 24-7, 17 all. It's a big difference. So I'm just saying, then they come back with the performance against Indiana. So I don't think people are being unrealistic or have unrealistic expectations based on, the performance that they've seen these 2 years. I think I understand the questions. And I like Kalen DeBoer, and I think he's a really good coach, and I think he's done some really good things. But, I mean, to just sit here and be critical of anyone that would have a question about, where's this ultimately headed, I think it's fair to have those questions.
Well, and you've consistently, you have said on this show for almost 2 full years now, well, a little bit more than 2 full years, and you've said it on several of your speaking engagements. The one thing that that seems to be the buzzword that you're looking for is just consistency, right?
Consistency in performance. I mean, knowing what to expect. I mean, teams lose games. I mean, Kirby Smart's the best coach out there, in my opinion, and he just got beat by Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is a really good football team. They had beaten Ole Miss earlier this season. But I think it's just the again, when you see a team quit or lay down, an Alabama team. I mean, let me ask you a question. In the SEC championship game and in this Rose Bowl game against Indiana, at halftime, did you have any kind of feeling that maybe Alabama might win those games?
No,
I did not. I didn't.
And that goes into year 3 under Kalen DeBoer. The honeymoon's over. I mean, bad losses, 17 points, 21 points, 35 points. Those cannot happen anymore. And, 11-4, okay. But it's just the way that they've lost some of these games, Rodney, that cannot happen in year 3. And if it does, I think Greg Byrne's got a very difficult decision to make.
Well, I would say this too, is you look at, let's see, the SEC championship game. Alabama had -3 yards rushing.
Yeah.
You look at the Oklahoma playoff game, I think they had 28 yards rushing. You look at this game against Indiana, I think they had 23 yards rushing. So that would put them, under 50 yards in 3 games. That is something they're going to have to get corrected. They're going to have to develop a run game. And I think if you look at the statistics closely, you'll find that Grubb and this offense in a track record is not really a physical run game where they're productive in terms of the kind of numbers that you would want in a run game that you're going to need style. And you've got to be able to run the football on a consistent basis. Now, can that change? Yeah. I mean, let's see what happens. But I think that's one area where they're going to have to get better. They're going to have to get better up front offensively. And we talked about Smothers, and I think A.K. Deer's a really talented back. Yeah. I think the incoming freshman, E.J. Crowell's, obviously extraordinarily talented as well. So we're going to find out a lot of different things, I think, about the direction this next year be really big.
No doubt. But what's going on now is big too, and Tider Insider is all over it. You need to be a member if you're not already. What are you waiting on? Rodney, let our viewers and listeners know how they can become a member of Tider Insider and get all the latest info.
Right. It's TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year, and you can get instant access with your credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check, and that gives you all our premium information. But also our all sports forum. I mean, it's been rolling, man. It's been rolling about the team, obviously the football team, but also basketball as well. So it's it never really stops.
It's always going on.
It is, yes. It is my go-to. Rodney, as always, my friend, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate your time. Look forward to it each and every week.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
You too, buddy. Thank you so much, Rodney. You're the Tider Insider, brought to you exclusively by our friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Go by and see David Scott and the gang. They'll take care of you there. I promise you that. It is the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf, arriving daily. You name it, it's in the showcases. They get it for you. If you want to take it home and prepare it yourself, great. They can cook it up for you too if you'd like. Just go by and see them. 3750 Norman Bridge Road, or call ahead 288-4272, and your order will be ready for pickup at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Speaking of hoops, Barry, when we get back, we're going to talk some hoops.
Little Bart Heisch?
Yep.
Yes, please. He's coming up. Longshore McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry is Central Alabama's best-known jewelry store. Their location at 8163 Vaughn Road in Peppertree is conveniently located adjacent to Chappie's Deli. At Marguerite's, they have every jewelry item imaginable because they make it. They really make it. From rings, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and much, much more. Marguerite's can also repair, clean, and rework any jewelry item that you want to bring back to life. Whether you're on a budget or have no budget at all, Marguerite's has all types of jewelry for everyone. Go by and see them today or call 270-0074. Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382. Or find them on the web at 834hands.com. We are back at it here about 24 minutes past the hour. Looking forward to bringing on our next guest. He's been with us for years. If we want to talk college hoops in the SEC, there's your guy right there, Bart Heisch, number 22 for the Mississippi State Final Four team. How's it going, Bart?
And Bulldogs are 2-0. How you think it's going?
It must be going pretty good. There's no doubt about
Bumpy
it.
road to get here, but
Yeah. Yep. The basketball world in the SEC seems to be still kind of finding themselves out. Did you get a chance to see any reasons last night, any solid reasons why Vanderbilt's still unbeaten, Bart?
Well, guys, it's just I'm glad to be back with you this year. There's not, and I love going on all the shows I go on, but there's really not one that I like going on more than y'all's. It's just been a great relationship for so long, for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
You know, and who would have thought, all because of Doc Artie? I mean, that is unbelievable.
You know, as a matter of fact, he just called me, Bart, and didn't even leave me a message. So I know he's watching right now.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
He's probably saying, ask Bart about this, or make sure he talks about that, something like that.
Well, it's a different year, basketball wise. I don't think the league is nearly as top heavy as we have seen it the last couple of years with Alabama, Auburn, and just the Final Four runs, Florida. Those teams I feel like were better than all these teams from what I've seen here. I heard Mark Wise make a really good point during the Auburn-Texas A&M game that a lot of these teams are still trying to find their identity, and you got a lot of these coaches who have an identity that have had to kind of change how they do things based on personnel. Well, that's good coaching. That's really good coaching to adapt to your players instead of making the players always adapt to the system. Sometimes the system doesn't. So rim protection or lack thereof as we go through this SEC season, I think you will see become a huge deal. The best teams in the country have stacked bigs, kind of like Alabama and Georgia used to have with the defensive line back in the day. In the SEC, that's your Tennessees, that's your Floridas, that's your Arkansases. Vandy, kind of, sort of, but the teams that protect the rim, and Vandy's done an elite job of it this year, but how many of those teams with bigs? Alabama ain't one of those, and sure wasn't one of those last night without Aiden Sherrill.
Neither is Auburn. Yeah,
I'm with it. I think Mark Byington is as good of a coach as anybody. Yes, anybody in the country when it comes to schematics, analytics. And even though they won the game last night, I'm still going to have to see. Vandy will be there in the end, but I got to see them play against these teams that are stacked on the interior so I can tell you what they're going to do like later on in the year when you get really tested about mid-February and nobody's healthy.
So let me jump on because there's about 10 things that have already hit my mind since we've just had you on. But you mentioned guys stacked in the middle, big guys that can push you around. When I saw Auburn and Alabama play some of these non-conference games in December, Bart, Michigan, Purdue, Gonzaga, whomever it was on the schedule, I'm thinking, how are they going to be able to compete with some of these teams that got these big guys that can push you around and dominate the paint?
The majority of time they'll be fine because everybody ain't got them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a contrasting style of if you can protect the rim, okay? And the reason you're seeing this with a lot of these teams, and some of them have figured it out, verticality, Barry knows this, in all these games, especially in the Sun Belt. They're not calling fouls in contact if you go straight up. It don't matter if you knock him up in the top of the mid.
You could send him cartwheeling into the baseline seats, and as long as you're straight up, they'll
as long as you're straight up,
man.
And so with that, the ability to protect the rim and keep guards from finishing. If you're keeping guards from finishing, chances are you can keep people off the glass. You can protect the rim. But it's a different basketball game now, John. And these Alabama and Auburn teams are completely different than what we've seen the last few years with what they've had on the interior. I do think they struggle at times, both teams. I think you're going to see some blowouts this year in the SEC, like Mississippi State, Oklahoma last night. There's going to be some times to where teams at home, it's going to be really hard to get wins on the road in this league. That's why what A&M, what Missouri, what Mississippi State have done in these early games against teams that you can go sneak one here and there. I mean, this league's going to be wide open, guys.
Well, we have talked with you for years and years now to our great benefit. And I kind of like to think that I know a little bit what you lean towards, what you appreciate, what you like, and what you value. I knew that you would love buckyball. Am I right or am I wrong, Bart?
I've been loving it since I used to give that high school kid buckets back at the Shades Valley Y in 2003. That's how we met. Me coming off hangovers at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Sunday evening, and just coming in getting buckets, me and my boy Dub. And we developed our relationship then, and I have watched this. So, yes, Barry, I love buckyball.
It is grounded in logic. I mean, it is grounded in really solid concept.
Two words.
It's not just running around aerial circus throwing it up all the time.
And it's more than organized chaos.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's to your point. Mark Wise made this point the other night. It was such a good point, and nobody knows this. And this is what Bucky's been doing to people for years. The way that they play, and when it's always coming at you, the pressure. But it comes in waves, right? I mean, it's like strong pressure, light pressure. Are they coming? It's kind of a mind game. Bucky McMillan believes, he told me this one time a long time ago. He said, Bart, everything is just math.
Ooh.
And I thought there was something coming after that.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't. So if you think about those Carver teams, our local listeners, back in Montgomery, can't remember a lot of those players on this, but those Carver high school teams were good at times, and other teams as well would come and play Bucky. That press, if you broke it, would force you into a 2-on-1 situation against a Trendon Watford.
Yes.
Against a Colby Jones.
Yes, nice.
Against a rim protector or someone. You're going to have to stop and make 15-foot foul line jump shots. Now, I would have done a lot of that against them. I would have got it to that. But at the same time, those are not practice shots. Nobody takes mid-range anyway anymore, and you're sure not taking them. Hey, son, get to that other free throw line and just see what happens. Well, that was what I was taught. That's really the only thing. It's uncomfortable shots they make. But here's what the bigger thing now is. None of his Mountain Brook teams, I always got on him about this. None of them were great shooting teams. They were not great percentage three-point shooting teams. Maybe one, possibly two. But what they always did is they made those confident threes after a turnover. And you saw an 11-0 run in 28 seconds that was
right.
buckyball on the road in one of the hardest places to play. I don't care if it's a different coach or whatever. He got the best of Steven. Now, Steven did a good job getting him back in the game. But it's everything doesn't just look like this. It looks like the same thing. It's like a Spagnuolo defense.
For the Chiefs.
Longshore.
Yeah.
It's what it's like. It looks the same. But so, man, yeah, it's adapted. But here's what he's done now. Last point. He's won the crowd.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He won it at Auburn. The whole SEC and nation. He won that at the hardest place. It's timely. I texted him after the game, and I said, bro, this reminds me of the IMG. They went down and beat IMG when IMG was number one in the country years ago at Mountain Brook.
Right.
It's a similar win to that. They're going to beat Missouri this weekend. They're going to be 3-0 leading the league, guys, at 13-3 and ranked. So buckyball's here to stay.
All right, let me ask you this, Bart. Barry threw the numbers out us earlier. So, Barry, if you got those handy, because I'm not sure, but I believe it was 46 fouls, 88 free throws, something like that in the Alabama game last night.
It was 54.
I'm somewhere close.
It was 64 fouls. There were 88 free throws taken in Alabama-Vanderbilt yesterday in a game that felt like it took about 4 hours.
I mean, come on. I stopped watching it. I'm not going to watch college basketball if it's a free throw competition.
Do y'all know what Barry, you might, and if you do, just, kind of bear with me. Do y'all know what the first name of the official that lit Nate Oates up name is last night?
Was it Don?
Wasn't Don.
Ooh. Was it Bart?
His name's Bart Lennox.
There you go.
And he's a good friend of mine, and we're playing Waverly at some point, Bama fans. I might have had something to do with that technical.
You need a fourth?
We probably will. I've already called Doc Artie about coming.
Yeah,
up.
okay.
So that's it. I'll tell Bart. All right. So here's all right, Alabama fans, all you tweeters out there, or Xers, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
The reason you got so many fouls is because you can't guard the ball.
True.
That's why your hands is all over everybody. Mark Byington's running every single set, getting the quickest first step guy, as you heard from Fishback, downhill with 0 rim protection. Those layups were easy for Tanner last night.
There were a lot.
But when you take Phylan off the perimeter, Aiden Holloway's not the best on-ball defender, right? So does a whole lot of great things well. Kind of undersized over there on that wing guarding the ball. The versatility of bigs in Alabama they're not guarding the ball well. And I think that's a lot of what Mark Sears brought to this team that people really didn't think about. That's kind of the head of the snake. But last night, the reason you got some, yeah, man, I get it. We like scoring, but you can't put your hands on people, John. That church league defense that you still play.
Yeah, yes, he does.
You got to get your hand. Here's why. Like it or don't, they're going to call handshakes. They're going to call illegal screens. The things that are emphases, you got to stay away from.
It's just the ticky-tack fouls. And I don't want it to be the NBA. But
was it consistent? Was it consistent, John?
It was, yes.
Even though it was consistent, I don't want the ticky-tack business.
I do not disagree. Well, I did because I got the free throw line that way. But what I'm saying, my point
was that during the flop era? Did you flop a lot?
I invented it. I don't know. Ask what was Eric Washington when he used to take me down in the post if I used to flop or not. He'd get a foul.
Bart would flop in the handshake line after the game.
Dude, get off of me, guys. But here's the thing, John. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you 100%. But I have 0 issue with it if it's consistent.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Now, what was the free throw total? I haven't looked at the stats.
Yeah, we were talking about this early. There were 88 free throws taken.
What was the make difference?
Vanderbilt made 35 of 50. 50. Alabama made 29 of 38.
Again, I was noticing how Alabama was having a hard time guarding the ball through the television. And so, but that is, John, that's the way that game was called. Now, I will tell you this. Cheryl's out there. Phylan doesn't get the cramps. This is a different ball game.
Yeah, no doubt.
It may have turned out the same way, but you're not going to have all those fouls and all those easy buckets for Vandy if Phylan's in the game guarding Tanner.
Right now, last time I checked, there were 6 undefeated teams in Division I basketball. There haven't been, through whatever it is, 8 weeks or so, there hadn't been 6 undefeated teams through 8 weeks in the last 5 years combined. I mean, Miami of Ohio is undefeated right now. Is this legit? Is the entire college basketball world top heavy? Or each one of those undefeated records, are they legit, or are they a couple that really kind of stand out at you more?
I mean, you literally just made the whole point, and I'll give you those 2 teams. There's 2 teams that I think are better than everybody else, and I think there's a gap. Michigan and Iowa State.
Oh, wow.
I want to see that. I want to see that game. That's the game I want to see. Iowa State's got 3 pros, guys, and 2 Euro pros.
Iowa State.
The number 3 for Iowa State is Johnson, is the biggest matchup. I want to see him in Lindenberg. I think last night he had like 19 and 16, something like that. But I saw them dominate Mississippi State, and the way that Iowa State, and I give and there may be a gap between Iowa State and Michigan. And Michigan almost got beat on the road. It's conference play. Everything will kind of settle back in.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about those. I mean, I think all the teams that have those multiple bigs, guys, Gonzaga, Arizona. I'm not looking at undefeated records, Barry, nearly as much as I'm looking at who's got multiple bigs. That I'm looking at that a whole lot more going into this. I'll tell you who else is and who's really good, and they play defense similar to Mississippi State. And he has turned that home arena. I've done games out there into a very difficult place to play as Nebraska.
I knew you'd say that.
No, they're
knew
good.
You would say that.
They're
Fred
good,
Hoiberg.
man. Watch them. I mean, they got bodies. They hide their deficiencies by keeping the ball dribbled out of the middle and are trapping every baseline. Iowa State and Nebraska play similar types of defense.
How about that?
So those three teams. Now, I think Nebraska's behind Iowa State and Michigan, but yeah, man, if you haven't seen Michigan play, you need to sit down and watch a whole game and watch them guard people.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
All right, the elephant in the room. What's going on in Lexington?
That's you.
Yeah.
Well, it's a turn of phrase. You look right now, Auburn's 0-2 in the league.
Yep.
And to John's point, Kentucky is 0-2 in the league under Mark Pope.
I'll call it right now. Hey, we beat them back in Superdome, Untouchables, who said nobody was able to beat them, but they beat themselves right now.
Yeah.
You probably didn't watch that collapse last night. I mean, they lost like a 13-point lead.
Yeah.
In like 5 minutes, and when it starts going bad like this, that guard play's not there. It's always great, but it's not. But they don't have the guard who can create his own shot. Even in this league, to where a lot of guys are going to create. I mean, Kentucky's guards are not that. They're just not there. Kentucky's one of the bottom teams in the league, guys. Mississippi State may go up there and beat them Saturday. Now, it's a get-right game if you're Kentucky. You got everything. Because I'll tell you this. If Mark Pope goes 0-3 in the league and loses to State at home, and that's no disrespect to us. We've only won up there one time, I think, or maybe 2 times and beat them at Rupp against
Missouri.
Kentucky.
Had never won there until last night.
That was just 9 times, but still. I mean, we won and went to the Final Four. We got more wins playing in there, not against them than we do against them. So but it's Barry. They don't, and they surely can't protect the rim. So yeah, I think Mark Pope's in trouble.
And there was some booze last night in Rupp. I understand.
Oh, it was loud.
Yeah,
I mean, it was, and just like when they get loud, when they like everything, it was that start soft and then just, and just that loud, like piercing. I don't think Pope's he's got a worse record than Billy Gillispie did at this time.
Ooh. Man, we know what happened with him. Yikes. All right,
Bart. So let our viewers and listeners know how they can follow what you got going on when it comes to college hoops, SEC hoops, heck, high school hoops.
Oh, my
Nobody knows it more than our man, Bart Heisch, number 22.
Well, man, if somebody will tweet me, I actually might stop in Montgomery or somewhere around this areas tonight. I'm headed back south. You can find me at BHyche, BHYCHE22.
Right down at the bottom of the screen. Yeah.
Pressboxradio.com. Every 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can check out our app and check us out online. I'm starting to go watch high school games. I'm doing JAG games still, so all of the home games. Guys, they bumped me and Pat Greenwood this weekend, Barry, for the Georgia Southern.
Oh, the game of the week down there against the Georgia Southern.
Getting bumped. Do you think anybody knows more about it?
Come on.
So
some outrage.
I want y'all's Montgomery listeners to text me some games in the Montgomery area, high school basketball, boys and girls, that I need to come see. I want to see state championship Final Four contenders. That's all I want to see.
Man lives and breathes the hoops. Heisch hoops.
I'm not sure the MA team's going to be as good as the one that won the state
I saw them.
Yeah,
I've
what do
already
you
seen
think?
them.
Of course he did.
They're not. They came to Orange Beach. Got upset by Chris Latch. They got latched. But I like them. But I think without the Stovall kid, he was an X factor. I do think they have a chance to still win the state championship and repeat. Some teams will have something to say about that. But basketball's here, gentlemen.
I love it. Love it. Glad you're here too, Bart. Appreciate you, man.
We'll talk to you next week. Look forward to it.
All right, man. See y'all.
Thank you, buddy. Bart Heisch, number 22 for the Mississippi State Final Four team. He is our resident basketball expert. Always a lot of fun with Bart. I mean, I don't know if I've known anybody, Barry, that knows as much basketball as he does.
I mean, John was talking MA, and he immediately, boom, saw him watching. I mean, you could talk about a Class 1A junior varsity girls game, and he'd say, oh, yeah, I thought their guard was a little weak on the – how he does it, I do not know. Well, I've got to go catch a bus.
Yeah, I hear you.
Out of Jonesboro. I'll be on tomorrow from Lafayette. Coming up, it's the Gurn Junior Victoryland 777 topic wheel. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me."
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us here on this Thursday. Barry had to hop out to travel with Troy basketball as they have a lengthy road trip that they're dealing with. I think Brian Reynolds of RTJ Cambrian Ridge is going to hop on with us here in just a second to give you an update of what's going on with the trail. We'll get him hooked up here momentarily on the program. Obviously, we got some big football tonight. It was some big basketball last night. Not good if you were an Alabama fan as they lose to Vanderbilt 96-90. But college football playoff semifinal action is going on tonight, and it is in Arizona. As we mentioned earlier when we went through the Daily Dog, I like Ole Miss to cover the spread tonight. I'm not saying they're going to win the game outright, but I think 3.5 is a number that I'm comfortable with and I can live with. So I'm going to take the Rebels. I just think Trinidad Chambliss is the X factor. And if Miami can put some pressure on him, if Miami can sack him, then it's a different ball game. But as I mentioned earlier, Chambliss has not been sacked since the Florida game in the regular season. So he has a knack for eluding the pass rush. And if Ole Miss can maybe jump out to a lead of some sort, I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on Carson Beck, and I'm not sure they're built to really come back. Big one concern, and I mentioned this early, is I noticed in the Sugar Bowl that Ole Miss, I noticed some of their linemen with their hands on their hips in the latter part of the game as it was getting down to crunch time. That concerned me a little bit. I'll be looking for that again tonight to see if that is an issue. Hopefully it will not be, but I just like them at the 3.5. It'd be even, I think it'd be kind of cool if they win the game outright and make it to the national championship game. Who would have thought the Ole Miss Rebels would be the team that would be able to do that? So that's tonight. Looking forward to it. I think that'll be really interesting. Also, the NFL. We're going to talk a lot about this tomorrow on the program, but it's a great NFL weekend. I've been saying it for years. I like the regular season. Don't get me wrong, but I just think the postseason in the NFL, and I get it. You could probably say this about any sport. It's the most exciting. There's more at stake. Do I think the guys reach down and give us a little bit more? Yeah, I kind of think so. They'll tell you they don't. They play just as hard in the regular season as they do in the postseason. I've heard basketball players say that as well. But I think this weekend's going to be really good. 2 games on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, 1 on Monday. I love how they've got the time staggered as well. Rams at the Panthers, 3:30 on Saturday from Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium. Saturday night, it is the Packers at the Bears. That is actually on Prime Video. The Ram-Panther game's on Fox. Packer-Bear game on Prime Video. You got to look for it. On Sunday, I wish they'd staggered these out a little more. The 12 o'clock Sunday game has just never been one of my favorites. Luckily, we don't live in California where the games kick at 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. I wish the NFL could kind of push it back a little bit, but they like that noon kick. That is the Bills at the Jags. That should be a good one there. Jags still an underdog at home. Then you've got the 49ers at the Eagles at 3:30 on Sunday. And then Sunday night, you got the Chargers, the Lightning Bolts, at the New England Patriots. Boy, have the Patriots turned it around or what? Man, they had a couple of bad seasons, and, man, they have turned it around this year. Monday night, you have got the Texans at the Steelers. Houston's a favorite on the road here. I can see why. There's another team. Houston has done really well in kind of building their program from the ground up. Had a they're in the postseason. I believe we had a little glitch with the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. We might have it up ready to go here today. If we can work the glitches out. Yeah, I think I see it there on the screen. And if Brian Reynolds hops on with us, we'll certainly get to him if we can get him to join us as well. It is spinning away. We got 6 topics. We're going to start things off with the black panel entitled Major Trade, where Trae Young, former Oklahoma Sooner, actually saw him play Alabama in Coleman Coliseum when we had the Big 12 SEC Challenge. Young has been traded to the Washington Wizards, who are terrible. Woo! Obviously, the Hawks are looking for the future, trying to get some better players, a deeper bench, if you will. But Trae Young, who was the kind of the cornerstone, the franchise for the Hawks, he has been traded. Hey, we'll get back to the wheel in just a second, but our man Brian Reynolds, he's the director of golf at Cambrian Ridge on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. Brian, we wanted to get you to hop on with us today to tell us what's going on in 2026 down at Cambrian Ridge.
Hey, the 2026 trail cards are available. They've been available for a while, but if you didn't get one as a stocking stuffer or a Christmas gift, hey, swing in one of our shops or go to rtjgolf.com. You can buy one. We've got merchandise is starting to roll in late January, 1st of February. We'll start seeing all the new equipment, the TaylorMade Callaway, Ping, all that new stuff's going to start rolling in. We've got tee times available. We've got some decent weather so far this winter. Got some decent weather up until Sunday of this week. Got some hit or miss rain Saturday, but if you're looking for something to do this weekend, we've got times available, and the golf courses are in great shape.
Well, I know that's true. The golf courses are always in fabulous shape, and you mentioned it, Brian. The weather has been fantastic. I know yesterday was just perfect to go out there and play. And the next couple of days before we get that next cold snap coming in. So take advantage of Cambrian Ridge on the RTJ Trail, a short drive from anywhere in central Alabama. Get your group together, head down there. Brian and his staff will take care of you. You mentioned the 2026 trail card. There again, we can't emphasize enough, Brian. It pays for itself. I mean, after you purchase your trail card, basically after your first round, maybe second round, it's paid for, so it's gravy the rest of the year.
That's right. It's good to go. You get it. It's going to save you what you pay for the card the first round of golf. And then everything after that, it's just it's like a freebie, man.
Yeah, it is. I love it. You know me. That's my middle name. If it's free, it's for me. Hey,
that's right.
and the merchandise. I'm glad you mentioned that. Everything starts rolling in around the first of the year, late January, early February. All the manufacturers getting their new equipment out. There's a lot of new hot items. Your pro shop is fully stocked, not only with equipment, but with the new apparel as well.
That's right. We'll have it all. The vendors are starting to box it up. We're getting confirmations, and it'll be here, mid-February. We're ready to roll with all the new stuff out.
All right, Brian, I know it's rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for all the information. You can even make a tee time through your website. But if you want to call the pro shop directly for a tee time or any other information, what's that phone number?
It's 334-382-9787, John.
334-382-9787 for Greenville's Cambrian Ridge on the RTJ Trail. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for the update. We always appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, guys.
You too, buddy. Thank you so much. Great stuff. If you have not been to Cambrian Ridge, you got to go, folks. I'm telling you, it is absolutely gorgeous. All right, we took a little break from the wheel. The wheel is back. Trae Young gotten traded. That was our first topic. Now, I don't know what the topics are, folks. I'm seeing them for the first time as you are here. All right, cutting it close. That didn't happen in the Rose Bowl. Cutting it close. Winter Olympics topic venues may not be fully finished. Uh-oh. There's always something going on with the Olympics. And it looks to be that some hockey arenas might not be fully finished in time, but the playing surface, practice facilities, dressing rooms will be ready for when the puck drops. You know what that translates into, folks? You, the fans that might be going to some Winter Olympic hockey matches, they're going to have everything ready for the players, but the fans, maybe not so much. I don't intend to be in any Olympic hockey, but for those of you that are, could be a little inconvenient. Who knows? All right, let's spin away again the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Brought to you by Victoryland, where you can be a winner too. Open 365 24/7. And we got 4 topics left. It's going to land on RIP Mr. Goalie. Glenn Hall, NHL Hall of Famer, start streak record holder, dies. Oh, wait a minute. Dies at 94. Glenn Hall, Hockey Hall of Famer. Man, started as a goaltender, remains an NHL record as he died. So he had the most starts at 502. Wait a minute. Let me do the math here. 502 starts between the pipes. That is absolutely amazing. Hate to see that he's passed away. Man, that is Hall of Famer. Hate to hear that. Tough stuff there, but 502, that is amazing. The number of times that he started as a goalie in the NHL. All right, we got some more to go. Let's see what we got. The blue, the red, the yellow, those panels are still left to go. Look, I don't know what these are. Gurn Jr. puts these together. He tries to, trip us up from time to time, which every now and then he does, but we try to give it our best shot. 33 and short. Is that Big C? No, Big C's not 33, but he is short. Jaylen Brown scores 33, but Celtics fall to shorthanded Nuggets, 6 takeaways. Must have been some people on the IR for Denver. That's tough. Hey, Denver, don't they're not chopped liver. I can promise you that. Tough night. Defense played okay. but just couldn't get the shots to fall. Probably Nate Oates feels the same way. Celtics 15 for 38. Oh, that'll hurt you. All right, let's go again. Let's see what else we got. 2 more to go. I think we can get them in before the top of the hour. We've been known to do that before. I think we can do it. Only 2 more panels to go here. The blue and it's the red. Let's spin away and see what we get. It's going to land on the blue meshing. Meshing. Oh yeah. All-star votes. LeBron says he needs to fit in around Luka Doncic in the team's chemistry to. Well, they beat the Pelicans a couple of nights ago. I know they played the Spurs last night. Let me get a score there for it, because believe me, I wasn't really paying attention. The Pelicans got beat again last night at the Hawks. Jeez, they're terrible. Lakers lost. Spurs beat them 107-91 last night. Ugh, tough stuff. But look, y'all know just as much as I do. Once we get close to postseason and things start, getting a little tighter, the Lakers are going to be in the mix. I'm tired of it. But that's a pretty good combo, and if they can mesh and they can come together, which looks to be LeBron's last year, I think this is it. All right, let's spin the last panel to make it official. You got to do it. That's what the judges tell us. It's going to be short blues, but we got to give it a spin just to make it official. Short blues. Short blues. Oh, boy. We talked about this with Bart Heiss. They were booing Kentucky last night. Now, had some pretty good individual efforts there, but Missouri beats them 73-68. That's not going to go over well. And Mississippi State's coming into Rupp Arena on Saturday. Kentucky 0-2 at this point. Not a good start for the Wildcats. They do not like that in Big Blue country. All right, good stuff on the wheel. All right, let me tell you what's going on tomorrow. I will be at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville, where Price sells cars. Barry will be joining us from Lafayette, Louisiana, I believe, as Troy continues their road trip in men's basketball. We will, Josh Harris, the Moneyline Magician, will be on with us tomorrow. Couldn't be on Wednesday. He'll be on tomorrow. We'll also check in with Will Fisher from Capitol Hill on the RTJ Trail. And our man, Ralph Michaels, from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet, will join us as well tomorrow. Want to thank our guest today, Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, Rod Neor, the Tider Insider, brought to you exclusively about the Destin Connection Seafood Market, Bart Heiss, our resident college basketball expert, and, of course, Brian Reynolds from RTJ Cambrian Ridge. Hey, folks, thanks so much for watching, for listening. Make sure to hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Need as many subscribers and likes as we can get. Really appreciate it. If you can't watch us live, no problem, because you can watch us anytime on your schedule, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on X, on Spotify, on Apple Tunes. Also, check us out at yellowhammernews.com for video content and a write-up about the show each and every afternoon. Hey, have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. For Barry McKnight and Gurn Jr. back at Network Control, have a great day. We will see you tomorrow.